The Honeydew with y'all. Thank you for your support. Here's Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the Honeydew with y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I'm Ryan Sickler, and I can't thank you enough for your support, man. This community continues to grow. My goal was 2,000 subscribers. I think we're just about 1,900. So thank you for your support. And if you or someone you know has that story that needs to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to vet them. Hopefully we get to do an episode with you. We are getting some wild fucking stories, and I love my goddamn job. All right, it's $5 a month. You now get the Honeydew, audio and video, a day early, ad-free, at no additional cost. $5. So if you've been thinking, do I go for the year? Go for the year. You get a month free. All right, that's the deal. There it is, and we're going to be talking to a guest this week, highlighting the lowlights. This is a story we have not heard yet, so I get excited when we get brand new trauma rolling up in this bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, I'm going to look at your name so I don't fuck this up, Andriy Svyda. Welcome to the Honeydew with y'all, Andriy Svyda. Did I get it right?
Hello. Yeah, you good. You're good.
Right,
first person in a while.
All right. I had to write it phonetically and then look it up. Andriy, welcome to the Honeydew with y'all. Thank you for being here. Where right now are you on planet Earth?
Right now I am in Great Meadows, New Jersey. Not too far from Hackettstown, where they make all the M&Ms in the world. That's the only thing our town is good for.
Okay. How old are you?
Right now I'm 27.
All right. And what do you do for a living?
So recently I just started my own massage therapy company. Still waiting on Sid the Sloth, Governor Murphy, to allow us to do travel. But until that opens up, I'm pretty much just waiting for the go to get on massaging.
All right, so you're 27. Your story you submitted is different than anybody. I mean, we've talked to people several people who've had different biological parents, all these things, but you suffered a fall, and it really caught my attention, especially after what Tom's injury we were taught. You mentioned in there, you realized what he went through. So let's hear about it, because this thing sounds pretty fucking gnarly.
All right, so this goes back to about August 7th, 2018. So it was a Tuesday. Early that day,
bro. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, so I had to catch a plane that Friday to go back home to my home country, Ukraine. So I took the whole week off I didn't feel like going to work.
Oh, I thought that was a Jersey accent I was hearing this whole time. Shit, dude. No shit.
Whole crazy story with that, but we'll get into that another day.
All right.
So basically, I was going on a different hiking trail than I normally would, but it's just backwards. The same trail I've traveled hundreds of times to this overlook, but backwards.
And you'd never done this backwards before?
Nah. Okay. So I walk up to this giant cliff face, which would have been the bottom of the overlook, which I normally go to. Now, I've had a novice experience with rock climbing. I've done it a couple times with friends, this, down, a third. This time, I'm by myself, which should have been a giant red flag, right? I don't have any ropes. I don't have any gear. So I'm like, it doesn't look too bad. So I talk myself into it. I'm like, I'll be able to climb up. I'll be back in my car in about an hour, 2 hours. Now, mind you, I was doing great. I start climbing. I get up the wall.
But you're free climbing.
Yeah, free
climbing. Okay,
climbing.
I've watched, even before that free solo, I still look for it. I think it might even be that fucking kid, but there's this video of this young kid I watched. He chalks his hands, and he goes up fucking Half Dome and shit. And there's a family at the top that's on the overlook. And like, where the fuck did you come from? He's like, and nothing, no gear. But one of them, and it's things you have to, consider. I always was tripped out by those guys that hold the bar and cross that tight wire across skyscrapers and shit. But he got up maybe 3/4 of the way and backed up against the wall, and the winds were going. It was foggy, and he finally, the anxiety hit him. And it's too late. You're not going down now at that point. So he had to fucking sit there for a while, gather himself, and then continue the rest of the way. So you decide you're going to go, and you said you've had some experience rock climbing. Have you ever free climbed ever?
So mind you, I've free climbed this one spot before, but I had 2 other friends with me now. And that was like 6 years prior. So I'm thinking like, I've done this before. I remember this wall. So I'm like, I'm climbing up comfortably. I'm doing great. I get to like this one spot where I can chill out, catch my breath. Just as soon as I get start going back up, I get a little bit higher, and right at the top, I'm crawling over the top.
No.
And it's like
You're there?
At the top, yeah. I was 1 foot on top of the fucking thing.
No.
My arm, I'm literally wrapped around the boulder. I'm just getting my foot around, and my arms just let go. I don't know what happened, whether it was the wind, my muscles just gave out, but it was like time stopped for a split second. It was like that, and I remember just looking around and just saying "fuck" in slow motion because everything just started to go slowly in front of me down. So instantly.
And how are you flipping, or are you that classic Lethal Weapon just falling straight back like air mattress shit, or what? How are you falling?
So I have the rock wall in front of me, and I'm holding on, and as I let go, I'm just literally like this far away from the rock wall. I'm just trying to grab onto things. I'm pressing my feet into the wall.
Oh.
And it's just a straight down. Like I went up the side and went around to the overlook, so it's just a straight down. So I'm just sliding down, pressing. I remember at one point I hit this wrist against, I'm pretty sure a boulder or something, a tree, but I didn't think anything of it. Sliding, I land on my feet, right?
Come on.
Standing up, right? I feel this cold metal feeling go from my foot up through my body and out my head, right?
You fell how far?
The whole 60 feet.
You fell 60 fucking feet and landed on your fucking feet?
Yep.
What are the fucking odds of that?
Mind you, if I didn't try to grab the wall and press my feet and grind my shoes into dust going down, I would not be here to tell the story.
All right, so hold on. Were your feet actually touching and like skidding down?
Oh, yeah.
They were actually hitting. Okay, so you weren't
they were no, not straight. I was grabbing. I was literally like touching the wall any way I can just to slow myself down. Any friction connection I could.
Oh, God.
Right. So I land on my feet, and my first instinct is like, take a deep breath. I'm like, all right, I'm alive. That's the first thing I say. I'm alive. Let me grab my phone. I pull off my string bag. I pull out my phone, and I see that my phone is cracked in half. Because I guess it hit it going down the wall. It smacked the side of the wall and just smashed. So I didn't think anything of it. I sat down, and then when I was sitting down, I started to feel like a weird pain. So I laid down on the ground for a second. Once I laid down, I was lifting my neck, and that was about it. My whole body was non-responsive.
Paralyzed.
Yeah. So
all right,
at that moment,
let's stop right there. All right.
Yeah.
You just fell 60 feet. You land on your feet. Your phone's broken. You're solo. You sit down to catch your breath, and then you lay down, and once you're down, your body shuts down.
So right before I laid down, I forgot this part. Once I landed, I started to feel my eye start to swell shut. Like, you know how boxers, after a couple rounds, they start. So I knew instantly I got to cut that open. So I don't have a blade. I don't have anything. So in that moment, I look at my fist. I use this side of my knuckles, and I just hit myself at an angle. And if you can see, there's a little scar right here from where I popped the. Oh, yeah. It was.
Hold on. You didn't even know what it was, though. Why not leave it swollen?
I felt it start to swell, and I started to like lose sight in that eye. I was like, I know that if I let that shit stay swollen, I'm gonna lose that eye. Like, I don't want to lose it. I figured, fuck it. If I'm still here alive, there has to be a reason. So I gotta at least try to save whatever I can.
And you fucking jacked yourself in the face.
Oh yeah.
One shot.
One good shot, and not with the full, just with these knuckles because they're sharp.
And did blood and shit shoot out?
Yep, all shot out. All the swelling went away, and my vision returned right away.
Good man. All right. So now, are you in pain or are you numb? Like your body? No pain.
So I'm not completely numb, but I'm also not in pain. I'm in like this shock that I landed. The fact that I landed and I'm still alive just blocked all the pain out.
So you can't even, your body's non-responsive, so you can't even pinch your legs to see if you feel nothing.
Nope.
What time of day is this?
So this was around 5 o'clock that Tuesday.
p.m.?
5 p.m. Yeah, p.m.
All right, and when was it? What month of the year?
So this was August.
So you got about 3 hours of daylight ish left.
Yeah.
Okay, and your phone's broken. Is this a heavily populated area?
Nope. And I'm by myself, so it doesn't even help the situation.
So you realize my body doesn't work. What's next? What do you do next?
So my next thing is, all right, I gotta stay calm.
Yeah, that's what I be doing, motherfucker.
I tried that one twice, and I realized if I'm gonna keep yelling, I'm just gonna burn myself out. I don't have limited energy, so I was like, let me cool this down.
Did you hear your own echo and shit come back? Yeah. Listen, hold on. How lonely is it to be quadriplegic in the fucking wilderness at sunset and to scream, and the only thing you hear back is your fucking scream? My God, dude. Yep. That is terrifying.
That and the worst part of it, the road is like maybe 1,000 feet out of the woods, so I just hear every once in a while a car just drive by.
God damn! Are you hoping to get out to take a piss or something? Anything?
Let me tell you,
my God, dude!
I would have stopped for anybody. I would have even if a cop came, I would have accepted it. But the kid.
I gotta ask you this, dude. How long did you have a watch? How did you keep time? Did you?
The sun
and the moon, huh?
Yeah, basically.
How long into this did you start crying?
About a month and a half.
What?
All right, so let me fill in. I did not let this get to me until I knew.
I'm talking about. Let's focus here. I just want to keep you focused because we're paralyzed on the ground right now. We've never been there, so I want to know about this. Are you keeping your head at this point? Are you panicking? Are you crying? Like, where are you at this moment?
All right, so mentally, I knew that, all right, I have my checklist. I'm alive and I can breathe, so I crossed that off. I know.
Number 3, does my limbs work? And we gotta know on that
one. Yeah. So my next step is like, all right, I have in my mind. I remember watching a lot of survival shows. I remember you could survive like 3 days without water or 6 days without food or something like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm good at least until Friday. They could at least find me by Friday and I should be fine. So that kept my mental calm the whole way, because I'm like, man, I still got 2 more days before I should start panicking.
Did you have breakfast that morning?
Oh yeah, always. Okay. Always good breakfast. So I wasn't hungry because the body shuts that right off as soon as you get hurt. I didn't have to go to the bathroom because that was gone after that. So I'm laying there and now it's starting to get dark.
Andre, be careful when you're hitting your table there. It's coming through really loud.
I got you. My bad. So like I was saying, I'm laying there and I see the sun start to set. So I'm thinking, all right, I know I don't have a concussion because I could still say words without jumbling them. You
can talk out loud. You're talking out loud.
Oh yeah, and I'm
You're
not
testing
bleeding.
your vocabulary.
Yeah,
I hadn't even thought of that one.
Oh my God. I mean, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, it's good.
My phone's dead. I got no watch. It's like I got anyone to talk to.
Are you fucking worried about it being too cold? Are you worried about fuck that? I'm worried about a bear coming to get me. Snakes.
So I'm pretty cool when it comes to hiking in nature, so I don't let animals really bother me. Like
because you can usually get away though. Now you're just fucking trapped.
So here's the thing, right? I'm laying there, I'm thinking like, man, I guess a bear, if they wanted to, could walk up on me, but bears in New Jersey are all obese. They'd rather go for garbage than people any day. So I figured, all right, the worst case, I'll probably have a coyote or something run up on me thinking I'm dead, and all I have to do is yell. So I remember laying, it's probably like, it's dark, so it's probably like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I remember hearing some rustling. I'm like, oh, joy. Something's coming my way.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So it gets closer, and then like it's probably like 30 yards away. I give a good yell, and it just books it the other way. So I was like, all right, I got nothing to worry about. Now, in the meantime, I'm laying there, and I start to feel like this warm on my head. So naturally, I start to feel around, and I feel like this divot. And I kid you not, I stick my finger up to this knuckle into my head.
Whoa, you got a fucking hole in your head that deep?
Yeah, so when I landed, I guess the shock from when my foot connected with the ground traveled through my body and blew out the top of my head.
Blew out the top. I don't think that happened.
I don't know exactly how it happened, but I know I didn't hit my head. I didn't hit my head, all right? I know that because the whole fall, I was like, I just got to make sure I don't hit my head. I don't hit my head. And then
there ain't no motherfucking electricity shot through your goddamn skull. There ain't no way. A twig, a stick sticking out, something got you on the way down. You just don't know it because you were
probably,
paralyzed.
Yeah. Probably, honestly. I probably did it to myself.
Oh, shit, man. Okay. So now are you panicking? Now are you like, oh, fuck.
So still in this moment, I'm still not feeling pain. And I still have in my mind, I'm like, you know what? My girlfriend at the time hikes this area. I'm hoping tomorrow she'll be hiking here. And since I didn't come home, she'll come looking for me. So I'm like, all right, I'll just wait until tomorrow. So I'm calm. I've calmed down. I take a little nap.
You actually do? You're able to fall asleep?
Oh, yeah. I fall asleep.
But you're not worried about this hole pumping blood out of your fucking head right now?
So what I didn't know it was bleeding. I knew there was a hole, but
I thought you stuck your finger in it that deep and saw blood.
So I stuck my finger, but there was just so much dirt and everything else around that by the time I saw my finger, it was all dirty and it's just mud. Yeah, so at the time, I still had use of my arms, just not my lower legs and my upper body.
Okay, so now your arms are coming back.
Yeah. So
that was the first.
All
right, so hold on. I got another. Are you under brush? Are you covered, or are you just laying in dirt like at the bottom of this cliff?
I'm basically I'm under a couple trees, but there's no bushes or anything around. It's just trees, and then all the down leaves from the trees in the fall. So in that moment, I decide, let me gather some leaves. Let me at least make my head comfortable because I'm laying on rocks. So I lift my neck up a little bit with some leaves. Now, I didn't think this through thoroughly, thinking now that I have a hole in my head.
Listen, this whole day went to shit when you went the backwards way, bro.
Exactly. So I didn't think anything of it. So I'm bunching these leaves and this dirt together to make a little pillow for myself, whatever. I'm comfortable enough. I make it through the night. I fall asleep. I sleep through the night. I wake up as the sun's coming up naturally, So now it's like, all right, it's day 2, and nobody's around.
So wait, the sun comes up. You see the sun come up. Yeah. How many times since you quit yelling for help have you yelled again? Have you tried again? A new day, a new dawn? Are we throwing out some new helps?
So I did, and I did call help, but it was in Spanish, because I heard landscapers across the street. So I tried English, wasn't happening. So I'm just like, ayúdame. It wasn't happening either, since no one's going to come check out why there's help coming from the woods when I used to have an old retired cop car. So anytime you see a cop car sitting on the side of the road, no one's going to come near it. So I could be yelling, help, help, help. But the Spanish guys could be like, no, that's a cop over there. They're trying to fuck with us. So that was the main reason nobody really stopped there, check on that hiking trail, is because there's a cop car sitting.
What do you got, like an old Crown Vic?
Yeah, at the time, I had an 04 Crown Vic at the time with the push bar, the spotlight,
Yeah.
Just the way to get down from down through Jersey the fastest on the highway without worrying about it. So nobody's stopping, nobody's helping out. So I'm just laying there. I'm like, now it's starting to get like around noonish because I feel the sun really coming up. And I'm just like, all right, I'm laying here. And then I look over my arm, and my arm is this big. It is purple and swollen. And I'm just like, oh, joy.
Fuck. And what are you wearing, by the way? Just shorts and a T-shirt?
Yep, a tank top and jean shorts.
So I'm East Coast. I know that even in the summer at night, and it's not like California at least, it dips 30 degrees at night out here in the 60s, 50s. But there it'll still stay in the 80s. So August you're probably comfortable enough. All right. But now your arm is fucked.
Yeah, completely purple. And we had a nice humid summer, so it wasn't too bad at night. But I look over and my arm is just huge, like 3 times the size it should be, black and blue. And I'm like, well, I guess I can't use that for now. So I'm yelling help to these Spanish guys. I'm yelling, nothing. I hear I wait for the lawnmowers to turn off. Then I try again, nothing. Then I hear their truck start up and leave. So I'm like, oh great.
Fuck.
I'm alone again. Yeah, I'm alone again. So with my hopes, I'm just like, somebody's got to have to fucking take a hike here. Somebody has to do something here. Like, there's no way nobody's going to come here on a Wednesday. But nah. So the day slowly starts to pass. It's starting to get around nighttime again. I'm like, all right, fuck. Now I'm starting to worry a little bit because it's like, okay, it's getting darker. I still haven't seen a single person. I'm like, you know what? In the back of my mind, I'm like, you still have at least another 2 more days before the water thing really kicks in. So I was like, I started to calm down. I started to relax. I'm like, let me take a nap, because if I burn up my energy now in the sun, I'm going to be useless when they actually find me.
All right. So when you close your eyes, you're not worried you're never going to open them again?
Nah,
you're not thinking about paralyzation at this point, or what the rest of your life is going to be like when you get out of this, because you're sure you're going to be found.
Yeah. So there was a reason I survived the fall. Like, nobody else should survive a 60-foot fall unless you have to finish something here on the planet. You got to do something somewhere. Talk to somebody, something. So that kept me going. That held my attitude positive the whole way through. Like, I didn't even think of, oh man, this is gonna suck. How am I gonna explain this to my parents? All that, like, none of that even crossed my mind. I'm just like, you know what? I'm alive. Fuck, I'm here. That's all that matters. So now it's around nighttime, and I finally hear a car door. So I hear a car door, and then I hear faintly my name. And I was just like, oh, shit, somebody's looking for me. So at first I call out my sister's name, because it sounded like my sister, because my sister's name is Anna, and I was dating a girl at the time named Hannah. So I yell out Anna, and I hear a response. I'm thinking, oh, shit, my sister found me. Thank fucking God. So I'm waiting. I'm calling back and forth. She runs up on me. She sees me in the woods. The first thing I say is like, wait, quick, before you say or do anything, call life alert. I've fallen and I can't get up.
No shit.
She starts ugly crying, heavy. I'm like, no, for real. You got to call the cops because I can't move. So we get the cops. It takes them like 20, 30 minutes to get out.
Wait, what made her go to that spot?
So here's the real trick. So her friend, her roommate at the time, was driving from our town over to the next town for a booty call or something. And she saw my cop car and called her. And she's like, hey, I don't know if you're still looking for him, but I think I just saw his cop car on the side of the road at this location. So, and this was right across the street.
I'm on my way to get some dick, or else I'll pull over and see if he is all right. You understand?
Exactly. Basically, yeah. Basically.
I got priorities,
I don't know if it was him, but I'll let you know. On the way back.
After I get fucked on the way back, I'll let you know if his car's still there.
Yeah. So,
could have saved you so much time and anguish.
Right? I mean,
a booty call cost you. It cost you.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, shit. It also saved you, though. It did save you.
Exactly. That's why I can't be mad. It saved my life. So she comes, she calls the cops. The cops show up, and all of a sudden there's the squads of cops coming into the woods. Firefighters. They got the local Boy Scouts involved.
Nah, for what? What the fuck they need to be there for?
So where I fell, right around, like, not even a mile away, is a Boy Scout camp, and I guess they were doing like an outing or something. So they figured, hey, that's a way to get them a badge. Let's call them in too.
Come on.
So I have a human chain of firefighters, cops, and Boy Scouts just lifting me out of the woods. They put me in an aspen collar, chain me up so I can't move my neck, cut my clothes off, and just start carrying me out. So it takes them they told me like an hour to get me out of the woods, because it's so rocky and it's pitch black at this point.
Are they telling you, okay, your arm's broken? Are they telling you anything that's happening while they're just getting you the fuck out of there, huh?
Yeah, so at this point, I'm still in that good mind state where I'm just like, hey guys, how's it going? What's up? Like, yeah, I fell off this cliff. Like, this happened. I'm not processing the bad parts of it. I'm not processing any of the damages. I'll deal with that when I'm in the hospital bed. So I'm still good spirits. Even in the police report, they wrote he was in great spirits when we found him. But so they get me out. They get me into this ambulance because they can't land a helicopter where I'm at, because I'm right where there's like an old Native American village that they recreated, Waterloo Village, out by us. So they can't land the helicopter anywhere there. They got to go over to one field over. So they drive me in this ambulance to the helicopter, and it's like a story. The moment I get into the helicopter, a torrential downpour hits, like to the point where you couldn't see this far in front of your face.
I hadn't even thought about rain. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So
is your sister allowed in there with you too? Is she in there with you?
So no, at this point, it's just me in the helicopter. My parents got the call. They told them to go to Morristown Medical up in Morristown, New Jersey. That's where they're shipping me off to. I'm like, yeah, man, I love it. I've never been in a helicopter. I'm like, I asked the guy, hey, man, can I sit up and see out the window? And he's like, bro, you look like a semi hit you. There's no way in hell we're going to let you sit up.
Sit up, this motherfucker. Oh, shit.
So my eyes are like black and blue. My face is just all puffy. Like I barely know what I actually did. They're not telling me anything. I'm like, so
wait, hold on. Here's a question, because you don't know what you fucking look like except for what you can see at the time.
Yeah.
So when are you starting to see are they showing you photos? Are they putting a mirror in front of you? Like, how do you know your face is all fucked up?
They're not telling me. They're just saying, they're not showing me. They say, you look fucked up. Like, we don't want to show you. You look fucked up.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they get me in the chopper and they just start pumping me with anything they can to get rid of the swelling, the pain. I'm like, guys, I don't have any pain. I don't need any benzos. I'm fine. They're like, no. This, like, the list of drugs that they pumped into me in that helicopter was ridiculous. So they land me in the hospital. At this point, I'm like, all right, I'm finally safe. And my body just shuts down. Like, it finally relaxed to the point where I just went to sleep. And then I think I woke up for maybe 5 minutes the next day. Like, after, like, they started all these surgeries. I started with lower half trauma, then I upgraded to full body trauma. Basically, so it started with the hole in my head, ended up getting an infection. Now, if I didn't poke my hole open, right, that infection would have spread to my brain. Because I poked it open, it attracted flies that night when I was laying in the woods from the dirt, from the leaves that I made the pillow under my bed. And those flies ate away the infection, the maggots.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The doctors told you that?
The doctors told me that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. You avoided a brain infection. Like, they told my parents basically, like, your son is going to be biting his ear for the rest of his life. Like for the rest of his life. I'm not going to be walking. They basically told my parents, like, listen, your kid is a vegetable. And within 2 weeks, I was like talking. I was like, I'm fine. I'll be fine. The whole time.
They did. Wait. So let's go back. They actually did tell. I thought you were saying that if you didn't do that, but they actually told your parents your son is.
Yeah,
wow.
They told my parents. Yeah, they told them worst case scenario. They didn't know what was going to happen to me because every half an hour they discover something new that's going wrong with my body, from my kidneys shutting down to my bladder backing up. Like, all these problems just started appearing. My parents finally get home from that first night at the hospital at like 4 a.m. They go to sleep, and I needed emergency surgery. And my mom's phone was on vibrate, so she didn't get the call. They made the executive decision to give me emergency scalp surgery because the inflammation from my brain and the skull from the trauma just started getting more and more. So they had to basically cut open a spot to relieve all that pressure.
Listen, man, I don't want to come across racist or anything here, but you sure something didn't happen on that Native American reservation with the whole scalp thing? You sure those motherfuckers didn't come over and get at you while you were asleep?
Even if they got me spirit-wise, they kept me alive.
It saved your
exactly.
life. Yeah.
So that's why I love the fact that I was so in tune with nature before this, and I will always respect nature after this whole thing because nature kept me alive. So they had emergency surgery on me, and then now we're starting to get a list of all the things that I fucked up. So
all right.
Besides cracking my skull open, I busted this clavicle open, so they had to basically put rods and pins in that to hold it straight because that was snapped in half somehow. I powderized the carpals in my right wrist. So
powderized.
Powderized.
It's a term I know exactly what it means, but I've never heard it used for the human. What do you describe? Powderized.
Like they said it looks like sand in there.
Your tendons.
The bones in my wrist, right?
Turn to powder.
Basically powder, yeah. They could not repair them. There were so many little pieces that they were just like, bro, we can't do anything for you. So what they did was they took my hand and they cut it open right here and right here and right here, and they put like a rod in there with some pins to hold it straight. So that stayed in for like 3 months until the bones regrew from the calcium and everything.
Hold on, you're telling me that bones are resilient enough to go? They can go from powder to regrowing?
So it just depends on how much bone is left there. Like if you have, like there was just so many little chunks that the little chunks were able to regrow from the existing bone. But the ones that were really gone, like I can't bend my wrist all the way. Like I got half a bend in that because it'll never get that full range of motion because of the fact that it was frozen still and it's missing some pieces now. Right, so that's the wrist. Then I tore the joints in my left knee. When I landed, I guess I just tore that right into my quad. So they had to open up my knee from the back and sew me up.
Oh, fuck.
So I have this wicked cool scar on my knee with like lumps and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I fucking see. Yeah, god damn.
Yeah. And then I had a couple wounds, like scratched this open, scratched a couple places on my leg open.
But nothing spinal?
Oh, yeah. So
I was going to say, for you to drop like that and land on your feet,
that's the big one. Yeah, so that was the big one. So I blew out my intervertebral discs of my T1 through T5 vertebrae.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are you shorter? Are you shorter now?
No, because they fused me. They fused me back up. But the way I landed could not have been any more perfect, the way the doctor described, because
gave you a 10? They hit you with a 10, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The shock went through and didn't like I didn't bend. So if I bent in any way, my spine would have snapped in half. But the way I landed, it's like I literally let the shock go right through my body.
You're a miracle. So if your spine bends, you're dead. If you don't poke the hole in your head, you're fucking dead.
You're dead. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, man.
All these little things that I didn't think that like I pick up on just watching survival TV and like different reality shows, and it's like all that stuff comes into play when you need it to.
And I wonder if it's winter and you do this. I don't think there's going to be flies in the winter.
Oh no, I'll be dead in the winter. Yeah, right away, dead right away.
Fuck.
Yeah. So my spine was fused up. This had metal in it. My wrist had metal. The one thing they did miss is I broke my big toe, but there was so much other stuff going on. They didn't notice it. So that just healed on its own. It was purple for like 2 or 3 months. But when it healed, the bone just healed straight. It doesn't bend at the joint. So my big toe just flops around now. But other than that, lost like 60 pounds in muscle and weight. All right, so let me backtrack a little bit. So after that first night, after they gave the list of everything that was wrong with me, they started doing emergency surgery, sewing me up. So it was like they had to induce me into a coma because if I woke up, I would just freak out. I remember the first time I woke up after the fall, I saw the breathing tube in me, and I was strapped like I couldn't move. So I was like, well, if I can't move, I don't want this thing in my throat because it's uncomfortable. So I bit through the breathing tube.
Damn.
Right. So that was a stupid mistake because that just started pumping all this oxygen into my lungs and gave me a respiratory infection.
Oh.
So now they had to, because of that, they had to put me into another coma. So that way I wouldn't do that again. So now I'm in an induced coma for about a week.
A week?
Yeah. For like a week while they fix me up, because every time I'd wake up for like 5 or 6 seconds, I would just be like, what are you doing? Where am I? Let go of me. Get this out of me. Like, I would be freaking out. I mean, they had me on so many different drugs that it makes sense. Like, I'm hallucinating when I wake up. At one point, I'm like, I see them wrapping things around me. I'm like, am I being mummified? Did you guys take my brain already?
Did you take my brain already?
Like, oh, man. At one point, I thought I was in the Korean War.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Were you Korean? Were you Korean?
No, I was American.
Okay, I just wondered. Because you could have been.
Yeah. So I wake up and I'm like, I don't remember somebody said something about Korea, and then my nurse walks out and she's Asian. I didn't know. I'm just like, goddamn Koreans. So in my mind, I'm all over the place. Like, I remember at one point somebody came to visit me and they just knocked so quietly and just said hello, and I just go right into Lionel Richie. He's like, is it me you're looking for?
They were like, shut this motherfucker up.
Yeah.
Put his ass in a coma for a week.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what they have to do. Like,
shit.
The nurses loved me because it was hilarious. Anytime I'd wake up, it'd be like 5 minutes of comedy, out for another day. So it was great in that sense. But once I finally, like, this is like 2 weeks in when all the surgeries are done, and now I'm finally waking up longer than 5 minutes, and they're like, all right, here's what happened. They fill me in on the whole story. I'm just like, wait, I broke this. When did I do this? Like, I didn't realize I did all this damage.
So let me ask you this while we're on this moment here.
Yeah.
They're filling you in on the story. What in your mind is the last flash that you remember before it all goes away?
During the story, or I mean,
your fall when you're you're from your fall. Like, there's obviously they're filling you in on stuff you don't know, but what do you remember last? Was it the slow-mo fall off the cliff and hitting your feet, or do you remember that fucking hit?
I mean, yeah, that hit. I could taste it in the back of my mouth.
Still?
Sometimes like every once in a while. It's
that
like
metallic.
Yeah. It's like I feel like this is what it would feel like to get hit by lightning. That's the same feeling it feels.
I can understand that. Sure.
Quick and sharp and just metallic. But so that was basically that was the last thing I remember from the most significant part of it. The rest of it was just like I laid there, I was calm, some animal came by, all that miscellaneous stuff. But that connection with the ground when I connected with my right foot, I will never forget that. Like, I mean, to this day, my right foot slaps a little bit when I walk because that's what took the brunt of the impact. My ankle really absorbed it. I'm surprised I didn't break my ankle.
I'm saying, how's that shit? And your knee's not powderized and shit. Like, I can't get over that.
Like, it was just, even the doctor's like, bro, there's no reason why you are alive today. Like, the way that you landed, what you did, it's like you have training in all this. I was just like, I watched a lot of survival TV.
Man, so you mentioned, like, how was walking after? Things like, did you need a wheelchair? Did you need crutches? What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and also, how long are you in this hospital?
Okay, so I'm in this hospital. They got probably for 3 weeks. They have me in and out going to basically I'm staying in the room, but they're pulling me to do surgeries, and I had to get a catheter put in for a while, which ended up backing up, which is a whole nother freaking set of problems when that happens. But my bladder swelled up to the size of a basketball one night.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and nobody freaking checked on the catheter to see if it was draining or anything. So when they come and check on me in the morning, the bag was empty, and they're like, we don't know anything about this, so they just ignore it. Now, mind you, this is a whole day that I'm not going to the bathroom. My body's in pain. Once they finally pull the catheter out, it literally shoots blood across the room.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they put a new one in and drain out probably 1.5 liters out of me.
Oh, God.
So what happened was, because the old catheter wasn't changed, it got blocked, and the pee just kept filling my bladder. And they had me on saline, the IV. So they're pumping me full of fluids, but the fluids aren't going anywhere. So my bladder is just stretching and stretching, and my bladder lining got so torn from the stretching that when it receded, it was like a balloon that deflated. It was all like wrinkly and torn up and like overstretched. So that ended up causing a whole mess of problems with kidney stones and bladder stones forming from the scarring of the bladder. So that was like, I'm still kind of dealing with that 2 years later, just the last leg of it. But that was probably the most annoying out of the whole thing. It wasn't losing my legs. It wasn't anything. It was the freaking kidney and bladder stones.
So I've had kidney stones. I can't believe that you're telling me that's the worst part, because I fucking had man, that shit almost wrecked me. It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It's what made me find out I had a blood disease in my body. I had no idea I had this blood disease until the kidney stones came along and started clotting my legs and everything. Yep. It was fucked.
Oh, yeah. That's
3 weeks is it? And then you're out at what, home, or are you like physical therapy? Like, what happens?
They send me from there. They send me from the hospital to a subacute rehab because I did not have enough strength in my legs to go to like a Kessler or like an acute rehab where they really put you to work. So they sent me to like a smaller one where you can rest more and work out like once or twice a day.
And
so
what type of people are you meeting there? What sort of injuries are you seeing in people in this facility?
So in the subacute, it was a lot of just older people. It was a lot of elderly people that fell, did little things like that. It was more like kind of felt like more like a retirement home more than anything. But they had nurses, they had a physical therapist, they had a pool, so they got people on their feet. At this point, like I was in a wheelchair. Like I had my collar and my arms. That was all I had use of. They had a wheelchair, they had a catheter in. A nurse was coming to wipe my butt every time I needed my ass wiped. So that was happening. So at this point, I'm not doing much PT. I'm just trying to circulate my leg. I'm just pumping my ankles. I'm just putting like a 5-pound weight on my foot, just trying to get anything I can to get blood flowing through my legs. Each day I'll notice like a toe move or some finger move, something a little bit more, which is why that kept me like positive in this whole problem. I never let it get to me until the day where I saw no progress. Like every day from the fall, it's like, all right, I might have lost my legs, but at least I see a little bit of them coming back. First it was the big toe, then it was all the toes, then I could bend my ankle, then it was my knee. It was just like slowly every day there'd be something that I could just keep me positive about the recovery. Like there wouldn't be something to beat me down, like, oh shit, I didn't do anything today, I feel useless, like I feel weak. I never let that get to me, right? So I'm in this subacute rehab for about give or say like a month, where they got my legs moving a little bit. They got some sort of motion. My knees started to unlock a little bit, but it wasn't much work. But the one problem I did have there was one time they were transferring me from my wheelchair back into the bed. Now they need like 3 or 4 people to do this, just to lift me and all this. So they're training me into doing it myself. So that I got to the point where I was confident enough in my own hands to hold the chair and like lift slightly and just shift myself over. But the nurse at the time didn't see that I had my catheter bag hanging on the wheelchair.
God damn.
So once I shift onto the bed, she pulls the wheelchair so fast and literally almost pulls me off the bed by my dick. Like it was the most painful feeling in the world. Like that's when I broke into tears. I think that was the first time I broke into tears, was at that moment. I was like, oh, but it's all right. At that point, it's like the pain went away after an hour. They gave me a pain pill and whatever. It happens. Like she didn't see. It's all right. I mean, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still recovering. So that didn't kill me, but it definitely sucked.
How I've talked to other people who've had to learn how to walk again, or at least I'm assuming your legs were fucked for a while, and they talk about the mental struggle, because muscle memory, your mind remembers how to do this, but you can't communicate to your fucking legs, hey, like, one after the other. So tell me about that.
So I remember waking up like the first time I had since I smoked a lot of weed before the fall, I didn't really dream much. This is the first time I dreamed since the fall, and I dreamt of running. Like I remember waking up from that dream and just looking at my legs and be like, all right, move. And I couldn't even get my ankle to move. I'm like, this is bullshit. Like how? Like I know how to move it. I'm pumping, I'm moving, but nothing. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'll work with what I got. So I have a toe moving, so I just kept working that toe. And then the muscle memory came back to the other toe and then the joint. And I was like, all right, if I just keep working this, it'll all come back. It's just going to take a lot longer. Now, at this point, my legs look like somebody just stuck a straw in them and sucked out all the juice, because it's just bone and skin. Like it was just nothing compared to what I looked like before. I mean, if it wasn't for me being in such good shape when I fell, I definitely would have died. Because that was another factor that kept me alive, was the fact that I was decently toned and my body was more resilient than most people. So just being like all sucked out and bony and scrawny was definitely like unmotivating, because I could see like, man, I can't move this, but I know I will be able to as soon as I get that muscle back. So I just had to find ways to recover the muscle, anything I can do. So after a month in this one rehab in Lincoln Park, New Jersey, they moved me to a Kessler spinal rehab in, I think, East Orange here in Jersey. And that's like supposed to be the #1 spinal rehabilitation place in Jersey. Like they pride themselves on helping people get back on their feet. So I get there, and then within the first day, they just start like 3 hours of PT, OT. Like they drill me. Like I came from basically a daycare to a boot camp.
Okay.
Like,
all right. I see.
Yeah, they're like, bro, you just spent the last month not developing muscle mass on your legs. We're gonna get you on your feet in the next month. So within the first day, they do their evaluation. They see how much I can actually take, like how much my feet can handle. Like they're like, all right, we know you can't stand up, but you're gonna have to try to stand up and show us what you're capable of. So I'm petrified, like I'm shaking like a leaf in the wind.
This the first time you've tried?
Yeah. And of course, I freaking don't even get like an inch off of the seat without sitting down, and then just sit down. But at that moment, I'm like, you know what? If I hadn't tried to even sit up now, I would have never even known I could do it. So that was another big motivational step. So like, all right, I'm moving my feet and I can slowly lift myself. What's next? What's gonna come next? Am I gonna get my full back? What's gonna recover?
My full back.
Yeah.
Am I gonna get my full back?
So,
hey, am I gonna get my back? That's hilarious. Oh shit, dude.
So at this point, I mean, the pain in my spine where they fused me has been numb, and now I'm starting to actually feel the throbbing and all this. So I'm like, all right, this is something I'm gonna have to live with.
And are you also just being pumped full of pain meds and shit too?
Yeah. So they started to wean me off because I was getting constipated. I was getting side effects. So like, all right, we got to get you off of this because it's not doing you justice. I was like, that's right. I don't want to get addicted to this when you let me out because I know way too many people in Jersey that have problems with that shit, and I did not want to get involved. So they start weaning me off. I think I'm down to like 1 or 2 OxyContins a day just for PT. Like I needed that. I had my friends smuggle me in some CBD gummies. At one point, I had a friend of mine bring me a freaking bag of regular gummies. Just to deal with, get rid of that pain on my own. Like I'm gonna do it without pharmaceuticals. At least I know what's in the gummy. So slowly I'm working on PT. We're getting back into it, and then I get a new roommate at Kessler at the rehab, and this dude is like maybe 10 years older than me, but he has generally the same spinal problem as me, but he like lost use of his legs. But his thing wasn't from a fall. He just had a pinched nerve. So me and him. We hit it off real quick.
Wait, he had a fucking pinched nerve and lost use of his legs?
So he was a heavier set dude, and he was walking his dog, and he stepped wrong, and a nerve pinched in one of his vertebrae and completely cut off the use of his legs, and he dropped in the streets.
Damn. I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, I didn't either. And he's like, yeah, bro, he was like almost 300-something pounds, so that's probably a factor in it, but he had to recover his legs, same as me. And I'm like, all right, so we're gonna have someone to compare progress to. So we're kicking it, we're bullshitting. He's got some friends coming over, bringing some vapor pens. We're basically throwing a party at the Kessler. Like right after PT, it's our shot. Like we're doing what we want, whatever. So I see him start recovering faster. He gets out of his wheelchair onto the walker. Now I'm like, God damn, man, I'm still in this damn wheelchair. You're out here on the walker. Like I know you're gonna be fine, man. If you got it, I know I'll get it, no problem. So he's recovering, I'm recovering. We're in the same, like we got the same PT people, we got the same OT. I set everything up for us. Like, yo, let me work with him. Like we work great together. So basically within a month of being at this Kessler, I'm now finally able to stand on my feet in a machine. Like they have this like standing machine where you go from sitting to standing, and then they'll see how long you can stand based on your own strength. So there's like a table you put your hands on, and then you stand, and then eventually, like if it's too weak, they can lower you back into the sitting position without too much struggle. So they get me standing. I'm finally like, yo, bro. I get back to the room. I was like, yeah, man, I finally get to stand up. He's like, great, man, I'm leaving. I was like, what the fuck? How are you leaving? Like I just got progress. We're supposed to do this together. He's like, nah, man, I gotta go. Like my insurance is up. So I was like, all right, bro, keep in touch. Let me grab your number. So I'm still in good contact with him.
That's
I check
nice.
up on him. Yeah. But so he leaves. I get a new roommate, and then me and this dude, same thing. We hit it off, and now we're recovering. He's a little bit more fucked up than me because I've been there for a month. But this dude that comes in, same thing, doesn't move, and I'm like, yeah, bro, listen. I did it. You'll be fine. Don't be down on yourself. And I told him my story. Like, I shouldn't be here. I recovered from this, that, and the third. Like, I broke all of this stuff. And I'm standing on my own legs today. And it's only been 3 months. Like, yeah, it's not me standing and walking, but I'm standing with a walker. I'm able to stand in place. So This is now November. I want to say like beginning of November is when they finally let me go home. Like the day I get to go home. I'm excited. I'm ready. And the day my parents come to pick me up, I have the sharpest pain in my side. And it turns out I got a kidney stone.
Oh, fuck.
And that's my first one. So they take me back to Morristown. They check me in. They put a stent in my my right kidney to make sure it can flush out. Then they notice all these bladder stones. It literally looked like a geode inside of my bladder. Like it was just crystallized from 2 months ago when my bladder stretched out and got all those scars.
Oh shit.
So the first thing they're like, have you been to China recently? I'm like, what the fuck's that got to do with it? Like, oh, well, in China, they have this miner's disease where people, when exposed to some sort of chemical, get this type of calcification in their bladder. I'm like, bro, do you look at me? Do I look like I've been to China? I'm in a collar, in a wheelchair. Like, it's not happening. So they're like, well, this is a strange case, so we're going to monitor this. So they put me under, they do like a Cisco exam where they go into me and like literally scrape all the diamonds and stuff out of me and flush me out, right? So I still haven't been home. Like it's been 3.5 months and I still have not been home. Like all I want to do is just go home and lay in my own bed. So after a week of being in the hospital from the rehab, I finally get to go back to my parents' house because I'm still unable to take care of myself, so I can't go back to my apartment. I gotta at least live with them until I can get back on my legs or be able to take care of myself. So thank God my mom is basically she's a CNA, but she's gonna become a registered nurse, but she's been working with old people forever. So she's been dealing with weak old people, showering people, all this. So she's been a saint through the whole process. She took care of me from the moment I fell. She was there every single day at the hospital, took all her sick days, all her vacation days, everything to make sure I recovered. So anything I could do for my mom, I was trying to help her out. So while I'm in her house, like even though I'm not walking, I was like, hey mom, let me do something for her. Let me help you with, because her English is a little poor. So I was like, let me help you write some emails. Let me help you any way I can, because you were there for me. So I'm living there. I'm starting to get stronger. I'm doing my own PT at home. At the same time, I'm getting brought out to an outpatient PT. At that point, I think it's now we're in November, late November, beginning of December, when at this point, I think I'm out of the chair and just on the walker. Like I'm still weak on the walker, but at least I'm not using the chair to get around the house anymore. Like I'm pushing myself to get my feet going.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking around the house. I finally get outside because it's getting a little, it's not too cold in that December. Like we've been having hot Decembers lately. So I'm outside getting some fresh air. I'm finally walking around on the driveway with the walker. Flash forward to about January when I finally get off the walker and just get a cane. And from there, I just hustle. Like at this point, my feet are like 40% back to it. Like I could stand on my feet with a little bit of confidence as long as I have a surface I'm touching, and I only need one surface. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. So I just focus on just getting my feet stronger, getting my arms stronger. And we're in like probably the end of January, beginning of February is when I finally said, all right, now I can go back to my apartment. So about 6 months in, I get back to my place, still going to PT, but I've actually gotten back on my own, a little bit more self-sustained. Now, for a while, I mean, I was still going to urologist visits to deal with the kidney stones and the bladder. That kept reoccurring every month. Like I kept passing a stone or two at night, and my bladder got really fucked up. Yeah, no, it's like bladder stones. They're not as bad as kidney stones, but you pass them for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh,
like first
fuck that.
You feel it pass, and then for like 3 or 4 days, you can only pee a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then it always feels like you gotta go. But once it does come out, it's like your face, somebody flushed your face completely out. It's like all pale and then all back to normal. So that was annoying to deal with. But so once I got back on my own, I started to recover, and I was like, all right, let me figure out at this point, where am I going to go with life? Because I can't go back to warehouse work. I can barely stand up on my own feet. So I decided at that point, you know what, if I do mess something up again, I at least need to know what I did or what it's called or how to fix it. So I decided to get into massage therapy. So even though even though I'm still not like 100% back to myself, I was like, let me look into some information about this. There was a school not too far from me that had a year program. So I signed up for the program that started in September, and this was still like earlier in the year. So I was like, by September, I should be back to generally normal. So I started the program in September. By, was it March? March is when COVID hit. So the program got shut down for a year.
Shit.
So I was 6 months in. I mean, I had some hands-on work. I had a little bit of a routine. I had the knowledge starting to build. At this point, I was just like minute little classes here and there, shiatsu, reflex salt, little things like that.
Well,
so,
let me ask you this. Where are you now with your health and walking and everything? It's been, what, 2.5, 3 years?
So right now,
today.
I'm basically like 99% back.
Oh, wow, okay.
I can
you drive
jump again? Oh, yeah. I was driving 6 months in.
Okay.
They told me, we don't know when you'll be driving again. Yeah, I know how to use a pedal. It's fine.
Yeah.
So at this point, I mean, I could jump again, which I didn't think I'd be able to do. I can hobble run. So, I mean, I can't sprint. If there's somebody chasing me, fuck it, take my wallet. But I can get away slightly, and then, I mean, I'm walking again. I can ride a bike.
Will you ever get full 100% mobility? Well, not 100%, but will you get even better than where you are now, or is this it?
So I'm pretty sure it's getting better. I mean, the bladder is the real thing I'm still monitoring. It's been like 2.5 years, and I'm still going to the doctor for this, monitoring what's going on. I'm still peeing a lot. But when it comes to my back, I mean, the pain that I have now, I'm just so accustomed to and used to that my body just doesn't even register it as pain. It's just normal.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember what it feels like to not feel this in my back. It's just like, it feels like a numb little like bless you. Nah, you're good. It's like a numb clasping right where they fused me. It's just it feels like somebody's just holding you there.
Okay.
So that's not the worst. I mean, it was definitely challenging getting into massage with this going on, because it's a lot of different positions and a lot of arm and leg work.
Standing the whole time.
Yeah. So that was great for my PT and strengthening my core and everything back. So I mean, that was a big thing that helped me recover even better after my PT was over, was just getting out, being physical. And then since all these people went out to fix me, like it cost almost $500,000 to put me back together.
Damn,
like my mom,
$500,000, man.
Yeah, exactly. My mom got the bill. Thank God for a good insurance, because we would have been screwed. I'd have been running to Canada while hobbling.
Well, thank you, Andriy, for coming on and sharing your story. This has been amazing, and I'm glad you're all right. I can't even believe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to land on your fucking feet, and here, obviously, I was wondering. I didn't expect the kidney stones and bladder stones. I really expected you to have more problems with your knees and everything. So I'm glad you're all right, man. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. And if any of you out there have a story that needs to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Sign up for a year. You'll save a month, and you are now getting the Honeydew a day early ad-free at no additional cost. I love y'all. Thank you for your support, and we'll talk to y'all next week.